Hello students, next topic we are going to start, that is the magnetic force on current carrying wire. Magnetic force on current carrying wire in magnetic field. We have already discussed when a charged particle move in magnetic field, magnetic force will be there on the charged particle, and that magnetic force is Q times V cross B. And if the charged particle is entering the field at right angle, so this is QVB. So this is the magnetic force on a charged particle. Now you see, now we are talking about the force on a current carrying conductor, current carrying wire. Now a current carrying wire, for example, this is a current carrying wire and it is having some current I and it is placed in the magnetic field. Now what is the resemblance in both? First, this is what? This is a force on charged particle which is moving in the magnetic field. And now here a current carrying wire is placed in the magnetic field. So what is the resemblance? Because we know that the charge is flowing in the conductor and that is responsible for the flow of the current. We know that if a current is flowing through a wire, it means electrons, they are moving inside the conductor. Electrons being charged particle, they will experience the force. So as a whole, force is exerted on the wire which is carrying current in the magnetic field. Now, so let us derive the expression of that force. So force on charged particle in magnetic field that we know, that is QVB. Here I am taking theta as 90 degree. QVB sin 90. Sin 90 is 1. Now, if I take a very small portion of this, means a bunch of electrons are moving, a very small portion of the length of the conductor I am going to take. Total length of this conductor, let us consider this is N and let us consider this is a small portion dl. So when this charged, and let us consider charge of this small portion is dq. So if that small bunch of the charges, bunch of the electrons are moving inside the field, so what is the magnetic force on the charge which is moving, and the length of that particular conductor is dl. That charge dq is consisting in the length, that is dl. So what we can write here, small force acting on small portion of the length having charge dq will be V cross B. Now what is V here? V is the drift velocity of the electrons, because we know that the current is because of the drift velocity of the electrons. Otherwise, electrons keep moving inside the conductor, but average thermal velocity would be 0. So if the current is flowing through the conductor, it means electrons must be moving with the drift velocity. So this is the drift velocity of the electrons. And what is drift velocity? Velocity, we know that. That is distance per unit time. So drift velocity I am going to write as dl over dt into b. So this is a small distance dl. So that much portion dl, how much charge dq is going to cover, that distance is dl. Now what we can write here, this can be written as dq over dt dl p. What is dq over dt? This is I dl p. So this is what? This is small force on the current carrying wire having a small length dl. So if you want to find out the total force on the full length of the conductor, then how we can find out total force? integration of df for the full length of the conductor. Current is steady current, B is the magnetic field which is constant here. So we can write this as I dl for the full length into B. So what is this? dl, integration dl, small, all the l's we are going to add. So you will get the total length. So this is the total force acting on the current carrying wire of full length L. I here is what? I is the current which is flowing through the conductor, L is the length of the conductor, and B is the magnetic field in which this conductor is placed. And how we can find out the force? In order to find out the direction of the force, first let us see the angles here. Here you see we had started with angle 90 degree. If angle is 90 degree, again sin theta, sin 90 is 0. So same thing is going to get appeared here also. So as if we will start with sin theta here. So that sin theta you will get here also. But we had started, for simplicity, we started with theta as 90 degree. And if theta is not 90 degree, it is any other angle, then the same sin theta will keep going like this, and F would be I, L, B sin theta. Where theta is what? Theta is the angle between the current and magnetic field. Current element and magnetic field. This is what? This is the current element. Okay. So this can be written as force as current element cross B, because sin theta is there, and we know that whenever sin theta is appearing in the product of the vector quantities, we generally write the expression in terms of the cross product. So we can find out the direction of the force using cross product rule. You have to stretch. So current is going in this direction and field is inwards. So how we can find out the direction of the current? Direction of the current is you have to stretch the fingers in the direction of the current. So here first vector is current, and you will curl them in the direction of the magnetic field, and this will be the direction of the force. So here direction of force would be in the upward direction. So this is the force. So if the wire is placed in this type of magnetic field, it will try to get deviated in the upward direction. So the force, net force acting on the wire is in the upward direction. So this is the expression of the force acting on the current carrying wire in the magnetic field. Another rule to find out the direction of direction of force which is acting on the current carrying wire in the magnetic field, that is Fleming's left hand rule also. So here this is a middle finger or center finger. Center finger C, we can denote it with C, and this is the forefinger. I am going to denote it with F, and this is the thumb, and I am going to denote it with T. Center, forefinger, thumb. So center finger is for current, forefinger is for field, and thumb is for thrust or force. So you need to arrange these three fingers in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now you need to place this center finger in the direction of the current, forefinger in the direction of the field, thumb will give you the direction of the force. So here you can place it like this. This forefinger is inwards, center finger is in the direction of the current. So this thumb is in the upward direction, so this is going to give you the force. So here again, using this rule also, we are getting the same direction of the force. So Fleming's left hand rule we can use to find out the direction of the current. So Fleming's left hand rule can also be used, but cross product rule is applicable anywhere. Wherever the cross product is there, stretch the fingers of your right hand in the direction of first vector, curl them in the direction of second vector, thumb will give you the direction of the force. So this is all about the magnetic force acting on the current carrying wire which is placed in the magnetic field. Okay, now we know how much force is exerted on the current carrying wire when it is placed in the magnetic field, that is IL cross B. Now we are having another topic, force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Now we'll consider only two current carrying conductors and we will see that how they are going to exert force on each other. So let us consider two parallel conductors first, infinite length obviously, and let us consider the distance between them is R or A, whatever, D. Let the distance between them is D. Let us consider the current in one is I1, current in 2 is I2. This is conductor number 1, this is conductor number 2. Only two conductors are there and both of the conductors have the two different currents but parallel in two conductors, and now they are going to exert force on each other. Two currents are going to exert force on each other. Why? Why they are going to exert force on each other? There is no magnetic force, there is no magnetic field present here. External magnetic field, no doubt it is not present, but we know that basic source of the magnetic field is current. So this current is producing its own magnetic field. This current is also producing its own magnetic field. So what we can say, conductor 1 is placed in the magnetic field of 2 and conductor 2 is placed in the magnetic field of 1. So if you want to find out the force on conductor 1, we'll consider that this is placed in the magnetic field of 2, and if a current carrying conductor is placed in the magnetic field, obviously some force, magnetic force is exerted on it. So now let us derive what force is being exerted between these two current carrying conductors which are parallel to each other. So here you see, because of this conductor, now let us see the directions also. Conductor 1 is placed in the magnetic field of 2. Is placed in the magnetic field of conductor 2. So what is the force on conductor 1? What is the force on conductor 1? That we know that. What is the formula of the force? IL cross B. This is the formula. I. Whose I? The conductor which is carrying current. So we are talking about conductor 1. So this is the current of conductor 1. And which magnetic field? The magnetic field in which it is present. Whose magnetic field is this? This is the magnetic field of the conductor 2. So this is the magnetic field of the conductor 2. And now cross is there, so I have to use some sine theta also. And what is theta? Now let us see what is angle theta here. I1L B2 sine theta. What is theta here? First, I have to see the direction. Current I1 direction, I know that is in the upward direction. So what is the direction of B2? That I want to check. I will use our right hand thumb rule. Curl your fingers and keep your thumb in the direction of the current, and this method will give you the direction of the magnetic field. So when this conductor is carrying current, what is the direction of the magnetic field on this conductor? Let us see. Due to this, magnetic field is being produced. So here you will keep your thumb in the direction of the current and you will start curling your fingers. You see here, curling of the fingers is showing that the field lines are coming out from this side. So field here is B2 here is outward. So magnetic field lines that is coming out. So if magnetic field is coming out, so what is the angle between current and magnetic field? That would be 90 degrees. So current is in the upward direction, magnetic field is outwards here. So I must write it a little bigger. So magnetic field B2 is outward here. So magnetic field is outwards. So angle between them is 90 degree. So I will simply write here 90 degree, and sin 90 we know that that is 1. So this is what? This is I1 LB2. So this is the magnetic force. Now what I want here, I want to substitute the expression of B2 here. B2 is what? This is the magnetic field of a conductor having current I2. Infinitely long conductor, and using Ampere's law, Ampere's circular law, we have already derived what is the magnetic field of a current carrying conductor of infinite length. B2 is what? B2 is mu naught I over 2 pi r. I is what? I is I2 because this conductor's magnetic field we are writing, and what is R? R is D basically. So you can write magnetic field as B2, which is mu naught I2 over 2 pi D. Now substitute the value here. So this force will become force on conductor 1 due to conductor 2 is I1 L mu naught I2 over 2 pi D. So this is the expression of the magnetic force. So this is what? We can write it as mu naught I1 I2 L over 2 pi D. Or length of this conductor, length of some portion of the length we can consider. So length of this conductor we have taken. So if you want to write force per unit length, that is mu naught I1 I2 over 2 pi D. And if you want to write the expression in terms of K, constant, mu naught over 4 pi. So what you will do? You will multiply here and here with 2. So what you will get? This mu naught over 4 pi is K. So we can write 2 K I1 I2 over D. So this is what? This is the force per unit length on the conductor 1 due to the presence of conductor 2, and condition is in both of the conductors some current is flowing. This is force on conductor 1 due to conductor 2. Similarly, we can find out the force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. So, I'll rub it and then we will see how we can find out the reverse also. So, I've written the expression here. This was the force on conductor 1 due to 2 per unit length. 2K I1 I2 over D. And one thing is left here, the direction of the force. What is the direction of the force? We know that force is IL cross B. So IL is upward, B is outwards. So what is the direction of the force? Simply curl your fingers outwards. First stretch your fingers in the direction of the current. Curl them outward. This is the direction of the force. So this force is acting towards conductor 2. So now let us find out the force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. As we know that conductor 2 is placed in the magnetic field of 1. So what is the force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1? So F21. Basic formula is IL cross B. Which current? The conductor which is carrying that current. Which conductor? On which we want to find out the force? Conductor 2. And which magnetic field we have to write? The magnetic field in which the conductor 2 is placed. This is a magnetic field of conductor 1. Length of that portion we are taking same. Using the same concept. What is the angle between the current and magnetic field? So let us find out the direction of the magnetic field due to conductor 1 and conductor 2. So keep your thumb in the direction of the current, curl them. You see from this side magnetic field lines are coming out and from this side they are going inside. So from here magnetic field lines are coming out and they are going inside. So magnetic field lines are inside. So from this point we can say from this side of the conductor all the magnetic field lines they are coming out, and this side, at this side of the conductor all the magnetic field lines are going inside. So it means here magnetic field is inwards. So magnetic field is inward, current is in the upward direction. So what is the angle between the two? Angle is 90 degree. Again here angle is 90 degree. So what we can write, I2L B1 sine 90, and sine 90 is 1 I2L B1. What is B1 here? That again we need to find out. B1 is what? B1 is the magnetic field produced by the conductor 1. So here magnetic field is inwards. And what is B1? Let us write down using the same concept. B1 is mu naught I1 over 2 pi d. At this point we need to find out the magnetic field. So now let us substitute the values. I2 L mu naught I1 over 2 pi d. So this is F21, magnetic field on conductor 2 due to 1. So F21 is I2 mu naught, we can write first, mu naught over 2 pi d. L I can take this side because I am interested in force per unit length. So mu naught I1 I2. So this is again the same expression. If you want to write this again in terms of K, this can be written as 2K I1 I2 over D. So that was force per unit length. This is also force per unit length. And you can see the magnitude of the force is same, this as well as this. So magnitude of the force is exactly same. So what we can write here, F12 over length is equal to F21 over length, or force per unit length you can express like this, F12 is equal to F21. The magnitudes are exactly constant. They are same, exactly same. Now let us see the direction of this force. Direction of the force. Force is IL cross B. So now let us see what is the direction of the force. You have to stretch the fingers in the direction of the current. Curl them towards B. B is inward here. So stretch your fingers in the direction of current, but you are not able to curl them inwards. So you have to keep your fingers like this. Your fingers are upwards. Now curl them in the direction of the field, that is inwards. So this is the direction of the force. So force is in this direction. Now you can see here both of the forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in directions. So conductor 1 was being attracted towards the conductor 2 and conductor 2 is being attracted towards the conductor 1. So what we can conclude from this, both of the conductors, they are attracting each other. So what we can write here, force per unit length F12 is minus F21. So it is as per Newton's third law, the force with which conductor 1 is attracting the 2, the same force the conductor 2 is attracting the 1. So Newton's third law is applicable here. So both of the forces are exactly equal in magnitude and opposite in directions. So one more thing we have seen here, both of the currents were parallel, both of the currents they were upwards. So when both of the currents are upward, then both of the conductors are attracting each other. And what will happen if the currents are anti-parallel? Will they be again attracting each other or something else will happen? Now let us see. I am rubbing it and we will see in the same diagram. Derivation is exactly same. Magnitudes again would be same, but directions would be changed if the two currents are anti-parallel to each other. Now let us see. If currents are anti-parallel, if the currents are anti-parallel, now let us see the directions. These are the two conductors. One current is upward, I1, another current is downward, that is I2. In this case, let us see whether the conductors are going to attract each other or they are going to repel each other. So here force on this conductor because of the magnetic field I2, magnetic field due to conductor 2. So because of this magnetic field, you will keep your thumb in the downward direction and curl your fingers. So magnetic field is going inwards because of this conductor. So here magnetic field V2 is inwards. So magnetic field is inward. So what is the direction of the direction of the force? Direction of force would be stretch your fingers in the direction of current, curl them in the direction of the field. This will give you the direction of the force. Force on 1 due to 2. Similarly, let us find out the direction of the force here. First, I need to find out the direction of the field due to conductor 1. So keep your thumb like this. So curling of the finger shows that magnetic field here is inwards. Magnetic field is inward here. So what is the direction of the force? Stretch your fingers in the direction of the current, that is downward. Curl them in the inward direction. So this is the direction of the force. So direction of force is in this way. 2, 1. Now you can see here both of the conductors, they are being repelled from each other. So this conductor and this conductor, they are exerting force on each other in such a way they are pushing each other. So when the anti-parallel currents are flowing through the conductors, they will repel each other. So what we can conclude here, parallel currents attracts, anti-parallel currents repel. Unlike charges, in case of charges, like charges repel each other, but like currents, parallel currents, they attract each other. Like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other, but parallel currents attract each other, anti-parallel currents, they will repel each other. So what derivation we have done here, this is the expression of the force per unit length between the two current carrying conductors. Whether the currents are parallel or anti-parallel, their derivation is exactly same. The magnitude of the forces are exactly same. Only the thing is here direction, you have to show the directions in the opposite manner. Both of the forces, both of the conductors, they are going to repel each other, and when the currents are parallel, both of the conductors, they will attract each other. Now from this derivation, generally this derivation comes in 5 marks question. It is very important derivation, and after the question, another question, tag question is there, define 1 ampere. So let us define 1 ampere with this expression of the force. Let me rub the board first. Now let us define 1 ampere. The expression of the force per unit length we have derived. This is F12 or F21. They are exactly same. So I am writing with F. So F is what? This is the force per unit length. I am just writing the magnitude here. So this is 2K I1 I2 over D. I am going to define 1 ampere here, means these currents units we are going to define. So I1 is equal to I2. This is 1 ampere. We need to write the definition. We are going to define 1 ampere current. So if both of these values we have taken 1 ampere, if D is 1 meter, that is the distance between the two conductors is 1 meter, length of both of the conductors is also 1 meter, that is length is also 1 meter. So let us substitute all the values as 1 meter. So what would be the force then? Force is, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1 and this is 1. Force is 2K. And what is the value of K? 10 raised to power minus 7. So force would be 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton. So this much force must be exerted between the two current carrying conductors. If their length is 1 meter, the force distance between them is also 1 meter, and the currents are 1 ampere. So how we can define 1 ampere now? So now in reverse manner we can define, if two current carrying conductors of length 1 meter each, separated by a distance of 1 meter, are exerting force on each other of magnitude 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton, then the current flowing through them would be 1 ampere. So this is the definition of 1 ampere. So now let us write down the definition of 1 ampere. If two conductors of length 1 meter separated by a distance of 1 meter are exerting force on each other of 2 into 10 raised to a minus 7 Newton on each other, then the current flowing through them is 1 ampere. So this is the definition of 1 ampere. So in this lecture we have discussed what is the force on current carrying conductor in magnetic field and what is the force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Thank you.